Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome back to our A Class Marble Live on Let's Talk Design. We have another special guest today and they will soon be connecting with us. I'm extremely sorry that we had to delay our live session today, but I'm sure it's gonna be interesting and you guys will don't have to wait too much again. I am gonna invite our special guest soon and not make you guys wait further. I hope you all are doing great and staying healthy. I'm gonna request our guest today to join soon. We will be talking about stone as an element to create art and design luxury spaces, which is very important in the current times. Hi, Natasha. Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you. I hope you can hear me as well.
Absolutely, yes. Firstly, welcome to Let's Talk Design by A Class Marble. And I would like to just give a small introduction to our audience about you. So, Natasha is a partner with LTDF, which is a boutique architecture and interior design firm located in Delhi. She has a versatile portfolio, and they really work on creative dimensions and focus on young and dynamic firm. I hope I haven't missed out on anything.
Yes, we also, I'll just add a little thing that we also,
Sure.
I would say, we like to design spaces which suit and are customized to a look and the personality of a customer more than just, a look that is expected.
Right, right. And today we will be talking with you about stone, how to create, stone, especially for luxury spaces in residential or in commercial spaces as well. We can take all the questions at the end. So shall we start?
Yeah, yeah.
Great. So before, we gave your introduction and everything, I was going through all your projects and I do see a lot of luxury in it. So just to start, in an interior design, we know that stone is a very versatile element and it gets blend very easily with variety of materials. So how do you think, like as an expert, that stone fits into every category of material that you apply it with?
See, firstly, I think stone itself is such an artistic and versatile material. So when you want to think of something that lasts forever, and when we actually say that this is set in stone, it means that there is, of course, stone is forever, and that's
Right.
really selection of stone starts, and the option starts where we think that this is where we want stone, and things that you want should last long, which are timeless aesthetically and of course purposefully. So stone fits in luxury because of course luxury is also earmarked as something that lasts long and lasts for a while.
Correct, correct. So, what is your main idea behind picking up any stone when you select stone for your projects?
So, like I said, I think the stone selects the project. We don't select stone. So that I like to see. And stone itself is like art. So choosing the right
Yes.
stone is art. It's like selecting art. But using it well and efficiently to get the right value, especially with stones being so expensive today, it's actually design. So that's when you design the art that has sort of owned you. So you don't choose the stone chooses you. We see a stone and we know that this belongs in that design or that bathroom or that house.
And what sort of qualities that you look in it?
So of course, one is the consistency. We don't want stones which have various elements happening in one slab. While it may look amazing in one slab, but when multiple of those
Right.
put it doesn't really work. It starts looking very patchy. Move, where are you using it, firstly? If it's a space which is going to have a lot of furniture, then do you really want an active stone? So it's a selection which, in fact, of late, in the last 1 month, I've been selecting for a bunch. And I've learned so much. Every time I go, every one of the top A class, their selection just changes every week, literally. So
Yes.
at some point, you need to say that okay, this is it, and this is what I love, and let me work with it. important element in selecting stone is the size. So if I have a corridor which is 6 feet and my slabs are 4 feet, we don't want to have that joint. We want to have excess wastage. So one is how busy it is, one is the consistency, and third is the size. Very important. With context to the location, whether you want it to be busy or little less busy.
Fair enough. Do you also think that, people have started using stones so much, like I've seen, be it an apartment or an independent house, even an office space? So, does it also reflect the individual personality of the person who's utilizing that particular space?
Definitely yes, because the most important thing about stone, which tile can never replicate, is that each slab is unique. Like each person is unique.
Right.
So in a way, it
Right.
does reflect that you don't see, in a tile you see the same print going one after the other. However, stone you see it move, you see it dynamic, and that dynamic individuality is really the reason that people select stones. I don't think it's a what you select perhaps reflects how busy somebody wants it or not, but the stone itself is individual, and
You
the
know,
fact that it's popular is reflected in the fact that most tile manufacturers today are copying stone
correct.
as
Yeah,
tile.
yeah. There's a lot of saying also, like the color of the walls talk about the color of the, the color and the mood of a personality and how they think, how they visualize. So, is that the same case with stones as well?
Yeah, true. It is. But what I would like to say is that stone is something that people really invest in because it is not just about
Yeah.
buying, it is also about how you install it, and the cost of polishing and maintaining it is higher. People tend to
Right.
choose stone over tile when they want something to last forever. So it's more when people do their own houses, they generally prefer to choose stone
Stone.
versus when they are living in a rented apartment, the renovations are more or less in tile or in offices. So
Right.
stone set in stone.
What is it that you get more to work with? Is it tiles or stones, or
I
you
think
like to mix both and experiment?
like, but then of course because stone is so unique, it is something which is absolutely unique, unlike a tile, which you can
Yeah.
have a similarity. Each piece of stone is unique, so we'd like to start with the stone. When I start designing a bathroom where you want to mix up a bunch of materials, I think the
Right.
stone decides a lot. So it's I always tell my clients that I don't want to give you 3D renders before you decide your main stone because
Right.
it will beyond a point.
No, fair enough. I think everything starts beyond that only. Yeah. Okay, so we have also seen that sometimes simple bright walls can be the most artistic element also in the room. How do you think one can use stone to add the artistic element to say, to bring a touch of art to that space?
The advantage of paneling in stone, or I mean, versus wood, is again, like I said, it's unique. So when you do a veneer, it's not, it's again repetitive. Every stone slab would be different. So when you do a book match, which we do not very often, but fairly often, is gives you a great backdrop to actually add the art. So once you have a pattern of stone, I think that itself is art, and sometimes you don't need to overemphasize everything else once you've got the stone.
Have you sort of like experimented in your projects stone as a piece of wall art, or maybe just as an art, or just on the walls maybe?
Yes, yes. Generally we like to go with a more matter look. So we tend to look tiles, not tiles. I would say neolith, which again has a variety of print. So it does look like stone. But we do, of course, stone goes on the walls in the bathrooms for sure. But the houses, on focal walls, on TV panels, it
Yeah.
blends really well. Especially on TV panels because the TV is this big black blob, right, on the
Right.
wall. So
Correct.
darker give a fantastic backdrop without really distracting you from the television.
I have a question. When you put, like an entire slab on the wall, so do you like combine it with one or two variations of stone, or it's just one entire slab on the wall?
It's usually one type of stone, but sometimes, I mean, if we're not very keen to book match it and continue with the very modern look, we do try to go grooves and give a little random effect. So you don't always
Okay.
have to book because that does tend to look typical. But when you have the grooves and you give a little random effect and you see how the and actually we design walls when we do them with stone, we get the stone slab photograph and we actually see and we compose the pieces to see how they would work.
Right. Yeah. And does the application of applying it varies when you put it on the floor and when you put it on the wall? It
Absolutely.
does?
It really
Okay.
varies because, like I said, your wall is something you really look at, and the floor works with a lot of other elements like furniture. Like a lot of stone in a bedroom is covered by the bed, or in a
Yeah.
living room carpet, right? So
Yeah.
what you see is more permanent. So how depending on how active the stone is or what the look of the space is, the joints are actually designed. So, like I
Okay.
said, the stone is the art, and the designer, I would say, restructures it to look different.
Yeah. I think you guys are the expert to tell everyone, this will look good on the floor, this will look good on the ceiling, or this will look good even on a furniture piece.
Smaller pieces sometimes work on a wall paneling if the situation permits it. But yes, on the floor, the size has to be very, very conscious of the space, size of the space, and the size have to be in.
Correct, correct, correct. With a lot of experience in the luxury homes, what is the latest trends in such home that you've seen, especially with floorings? Like, do you plan to mix the materials, or is it just like one entire slab, like you said, with accuracy?
No, so I think the new trend, which I think really makes a home look large, especially large farmhouses, is to use the same stone across the whole house. So that's a larger selection and a larger ability because it has to blend with, whether it's a kid's room or it's a living room, it should work well for all areas. So within that, we may put patches and create patterns, but the concept has moved from patterns and using plain stones to stones which are a pattern and art by themselves. So you have to look at match them with various concepts and lookbooks that you might develop for a project. So and I think that's a great trend because it makes the house look really big. So when the doors are open, you don't see different things in from various areas.
Agree. So, does this work a lot more when you're doing an apartment or a floor, basically, because
Uh,
it makes the space look wider?
but also in farmhouses. And
Right.
I mean, concept again, another very big emerging trend, thanks to Pinterest, is that people like to take these really active stones and wrap them on the space like a little carpet. So you see the whole
Okay.
print move, and that looks stunning. That looks amazing.
I think this is the first time I've heard this.
No, but
I will, I
most
will look at it.
wants this really active stone, and a bunch of photographs of this going around on Pinterest, which a lot of clients come back to me with the same photograph, the same concept. I actually
Okay.
feel like carpet effect when you wrap the same slab. So in that, the selection and of the size of the slab becomes so important because you don't want
Right.
wastage, exotic or expensive stones. So
Right.
you don't want to waste even a square inch.
Now that you've spoken about, this carpet-looking marble, there's a lot of variety of 3D stones as well, right? So how do you differentiate as an expert from a normal stone to a 3D looking stone? What works best, especially when you're doing luxury homes? Does it hamper any
Uh,
sort of space?
are you talking about digital wallpapers that look like stone?
Yeah, no, 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 no. The 3D stones basically, the 3D
You
looking stones.
carved
Yeah,
out
yeah,
stone.
yeah, yeah.
So carved out stones, of course, have a pattern which is created in a sort of usually in a flatter textured stone, which doesn't have a variation or an print of its own. So in that
Okay.
scenario, we do get the carving done, but that again owns the space and it adds a pattern which is not always timeless. So we do use a lot of that, more straight line patterns in outdoor areas and
Okay.
bodies, wall panels. The beauty of a 3D that the way it's usually matte, so it catches the light and you see the shadows, and that's where you really feel the texture. Versus a
Okay.
polished stone which will reflect light. So depending on what you want and where is it for, 3D stones are usually
Right.
on as compared
Okay.
to polished.
Okay. And how do you vary from stones used in interiors to stone used in facades and exteriors?
Um, okay, so stone used in exterior has to be very less porous. So that's something, of course, there are treatments for it, but those treatments wear out over time. And it should not it should not crack open because a lot of them have fillings over time with the sun and the water, particularly. Most Italian marbles will fade with sun, and that is expected. But we want to
Okay.
always know it will fade and how it will age and evolve.
So with Italian marbles, do you plan to do some sort of a treatment so that they don't fade or they fade with a longer duration of time?
Yeah, we always do treatment,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
And again, it's always advised to use the outdoor stones in a more matte.
Okay. Okay. And how do you think that stone contributes in creating visual impact in such residences?
Like I said, stone adds the individuality to a project, which is
Right.
can have that same stone ever. No other room can look the same, even if the same stone is used. So there's so many versions of the same stone. So if you really want individuality and uniqueness, it's definitely always.
Always stones. Okay. While doing a project, we always try to avoid the wastage of materials. But there's always a small piece of stone which is left over. So have you ever tried to create something out of that in a very creative or an innovative manner?
So we use them very often for either in case some patterns are, of course, neat. For tabletop, side tabletops, we use them a lot. For band furniture, a lot. And of late, what we did was whatever's the wastage, we lay it out and cut like, smaller tiles to use them in passive back end areas. So again, the idea is to minimize wastage and every single piece should be used to its maximum.
Right.
And especially when you're trying
Interesting.
to match patterns, what happens is your the sides that are cut because you have to center line the joints. So in that
Yes.
scenario, more wastage and when you do random installations.
Oh, this is interesting. Yeah. Variety, we always know variety is the key to success. So, any tip or advice you would like to give to our audience that how could they play around with stones in different manner, or maybe
Um,
designing contemporary spaces?
So, in any space, it should always be one thing that takes the focus. So, if it's going to be a stone, I always give most importance to stone in common areas like lobbies, staircases, because it never gets covered with furniture or with carpets. So, we try and choose the best stones there. And of course, every project does come with a budget. So, we try and balance out in other areas where there would be more furniture covering it up. So, when you choose stone, I mean, choose something that you fall in love with, the slab that you fall in love with the moment you see it because you're going to look at it for the rest of your life and it stays really long.
Agree.
It's
Agree.
tile, you see a lot more joints, but stone, you don't see that. You see the pattern. So,
Yes.
and don't overthink it because beyond a point, when you love something, take it. Because if you don't, that lot gets sold out very, very easily. So lots change so often now, especially the good ones, that in a situation where the client wants to see more because they're not sure, they end up
Right.
losing that they actually loved.
Yes.
Love
Very
it,
rightly said.
you can never beat that.
Yes, absolutely. What is your favorite stone? That
Uh,
oh, when you look at it and you're like, oh, this has to be in my space.
so it's usually my personal favorite is a Satvario, which is more Calcutta color, dark white and gray. It's got a little hint of cream and lines because it picks up your wood really well. So you can really be very flexible with it. You don't really have to go with a gray or a modern interior. You can go
Right,
anywhere. And I think my next favorite are flat grays because they again lift contemporary spaces and classical spaces equally well.
right. Grays are very in these days.
Grays are,
Very.
but there's a blueness in a gray. So I mean, I always recommend
Yeah.
because the stone is forever, and a little
Yes.
yellowy gray is usually a little better.
Yes. And which stone do you use more often in your project, or you always recommend to your clients?
I usually use I would say mostly grays at the moment.
Okay. Going with the trends.
Going with the trend, but grays with a little hint of yellow.
Okay, okay. Great. You've given me so many nice tips, which I never knew before. Great. Okay, so should we ask, let's see what audience have to ask you. I'll just go through the questions once. Okay. So there's a question from Gautam. He says, if we are comparing Italian stone with synthetic marble, which is better?
Of course, any natural stone is always better because synthetic stones are made with resin, and they tend to take stains really, really deeply. Secondly, a lot of them cannot be polished. People don't know they can't be polished endlessly.
Okay.
And another, yeah, very important point, which I think I forgot to mention, was that thickness of stone is important. So most commercial projects take a very thin thickness, which after a few polishes diminishes and makes it weak. So it's really important to take a good thickness, especially in areas like staircases and lobbies, which will have a higher footfall. And
Okay.
and the insulation actually matters as much as stone, especially as light as you go and larger the slabs, the insulation makes all the difference.
Right. Thank you. I hope Gautam, you got your answer. Shweta has asked you what stone can be used for exteriors.
So like I said, not every stone can be used. Anything which is less porous and has less fillings, so is usually better. It's more
Okay.
compact because it would crack less. As you know, expansion contraction is a natural process. So when there are cracks, two segments of the stone might compact differently. A more
Right.
consistent stone is always better than those with different crystals or quartzites or any of those, because again they would expand contract differently. And heat, especially in India, we actually see
Yeah.
four different seasons in North India at least. So
Yes. Yes.
whatever you choose, eventually you have to coat it. But
Maybe
my preference is definitely for these new age tiles, which give you enough faces to look like stone because they're actually maintenance.
maybe you
For
could just give her, two references of stones that she could take it further.
I mean, travertinos are always good, of course, for exteriors, for cladding. And for
Yeah.
floorings, usually we continue the same Italian marble, but we coat it and we expect dull over time. So that most of them work on the floor. It's the wall that worries.
Okay. So Shweta, I hope you've got your answer.
Very common, which are the regular granites, the Indian. They're beautiful, these exotic granites that come from Brazil nowadays, which
Okay.
make in outdoor facade. However, they're very as compared to the Indian granite.
Okay. We have another question from Simran. What kind of stones can be used for furniture retail studio?
So for the flooring, for a furniture retail studio, for the flooring, I would highly recommend, honestly, to go with tiles because it would lift your furniture. Like I said, stone starts owning the space, and you would want your furniture a little more than the base, and you would put carpets. So if
Right.
it's of course, it's more cost effective because if the stone price is, say, for example, 500, with wastage it comes to 700, then installation is about 200 and polishing. So you end
Right.
up doubling the price. So in a retail
Yes.
store, I always recommend that go with a tile that looks like stone. And today the sizes are so massive, you couldn't even tell if you put it right.
Yes. Great. Morbi Tiles is asking you what kind of stones they should use for interior wall cladding.
So interior wall cladding, you can pretty much use anything. You just have to be, when you again use your stone for interior cladding, you just have to be very sure of the weight that it comes with. And you must, decide whether you want to do wet cladding or dry cladding. But that makes a very big
Okay.
difference. And but
Okay.
I recommend like the important tiles like Fiandre, which is of course also by A class. In addition
Yes.
to other, uh, there's uh, there's Neolith and Laminam. They look fantastic for interior cladding, and they give you the same impact as stone if used well, because they have enough faces to give you
Yeah.
that.
Great. Wow, so many new things to know today from you. I hope everyone has got their answer. And thank you, Natasha. It was lovely having you here. I myself have got so many new ideas, honestly, because there were certain tips that you brought in the discussion that were totally new. Thank you so much. It was lovely having you on board. And rest of the question, guys, of course, you can ask Natasha. We'll be posting this video on our page. Maybe you can just drop in the comment section and ask if you have anything else. Natasha can respond to it. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Feel free to DM me any queries. Happy to answer.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you. Bye.